TNCradio.live. It's a Friday night, and we are happy to have you in here with us. We're live May the 26th, 2023, and we got all sorts of things going on. I'm Tom, he's Steve, and Gary is...
not here.
All right.
No, Gary has family obligations. He does. He's helping his mother-in-law and his wife Donna this weekend. So
okay, well, that sounds like a good thing to be doing.
Yeah.
So we are happy to have you all in here with us tonight. We are live on TNC Radio, and you can catch us up on TNCradio.live. You can use the app. You can use Alexa. You can use Google Home. You can use. We're on just about everything. We're even on TV. You can watch us on Roku TV. We're out there everywhere. We're everywhere.
And soon we'll be everywhere and then more.
That's right. We are inevitable. So happy to have you with us. Steve is the host of Rideshare Rodeo podcast and multiple things going on YouTube. You can watch us on the Rideshare Rodeo channel. If you're at home right now, you're not out driving, you want to watch us and see our smiling faces, come right on in and watch us over there on Rideshare Rodeo. What do you expect tonight, Steve? We're going to have a smaller crowd because of the holiday weekend, or a larger crowd, or...
I don't know. I was thinking the same thing, man. I'm a little, a lot of gig workers are going to work this weekend, to be honest. But also I'm thinking a lot of people, even if they are going away, might listen. This is like ending their week right now.
Right.
Because they're probably still working today. So I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
All right. Well, let's jump right into it. Steve, what federal department has the oldest and largest fleet of vehicles?
Mail.
That's right. The USPS. Very good. It has, I don't have the number right here in front, 165,000. Is that right? They have lots and lots and lots of vehicles. Okay. Lots of vehicles. And let's see, in 20, I'm going to get the latest number here. 2021, they reported a net loss of $4.9 billion. Okay. So with those two things in mind, guess what they announced today?
Lift mail.
No better than that.
Instamail.
They're moving everything to electric vehicles by the end of 2028. Most of it will be done by the end of 2026.
Because they want to lose more money?
Apparently, they're not losing money fast enough. And so they're going to invest in, and again, this is the part where I think it's going to get really, really interesting. I can't wait to see at my local post office how they're going to handle. I don't know what my local post office has. Let's say 50 vehicles. Let's say 100. I'm a pretty big area. Let's say how they're going to charge 100 vehicles at one time.
It's pretty interesting, man.
They're going to have to bring in so much power to do that.
Maybe they're, I started thinking about this. Maybe that's why it's the post office. Maybe they're making like an underground garage to all the nuclear silos, and they're just going to plug them right in there to charge them.
We don't have a lot of nuclear silos in Houston, so this is going to be. I don't even know how to express my frustration when I read something like this.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say, man, I was expecting you to actually give a real, even though we know if you had given a solution, we don't know that solution will work, but I at least expect you to give one that maybe had real merit and might be able to happen, not just they're going to go to electric. I mean, to me, that just, even if electric was possible, I don't see where the solution is.
Right.
But it's not possible. So now it's really not. I mean, that's not even a real offer.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't get how this is supposed to work. I don't get how this is supposed to help. I don't get any of it. And we're talking about, what did I just say a minute ago? 4.9 billion in losses.
Jeez.
4.9 billion. That's
what
the
is
latest.
what is the average losses
21.
like other years with the post?
Oh,
Because I think they always lose, don't
they always lose. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So,
I mean,
yeah,
is that way above the normal though? Is what I'm asking, or
Oh.
is that pretty normal?
that's pretty normal.
Yeah, I mean, like to me, it's like maybe sell half the vehicles and not, and don't buy anything. Just put it towards the budget.
Right.
I mean, I know there's not a big market of people looking for like little postal cars.
Now, I've told this to people before, and I don't think they believe me, but this is a true story. In 1985, so what's that, close to 40 years ago now, I was in a meeting with some muckety mucks from a large computer services corporation and the United States Post Office, and it was kicked around that email might become a big thing should the post office get involved and like get a piece of email, so that every time you send an email, the post office would get a penny or something like that. Do you know why they didn't do it?
Because it made sense. I don't know.
Because they didn't think email would really catch on.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta be honest, man. It's, it's kind of tough to get behind just because, and it's not even that he's not smart. He's just boring. But what's I'm drawing a blank on his name now. The vice president who invented the internet. Let's just at least
Gore. Al
and it's
Gore.
hard to like believe in him, like, when he's like, the internet's like, oh God, this guy. It's like, oh, the internet.
Yeah.
Like that guy should be, he should get a lot more credit for that because he got dogged hard all the time. And actually, he was
should
bragging
be.
about this internet thing, and it actually was it's been the biggest thing of our times.
Yeah, but he had nothing to do with making it happen. Nothing.
Yeah, but
Nothing.
you gotta give him some credit, man.
I give him no credit. The guy's supposed to be the world expert on ecology and the environment, and he gets on national TV and says the center of the world is like 10 million degrees.
You're talking 3 times faster than him. He's more Bob Ross.
Well, 10 million degrees.
Got a pretty little 10 million over
no,
here.
No, it's not. The center of the world was 10 million.
We're just gonna make that disappear.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we won't give the credit to Gore. Sorry, Al. I tried.
Yeah. So anyway, be expecting to never get mail again.
Where's this budget coming from, too?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Thank you for mentioning that. On top of their own budget, they're using the Inflation Reduction Act for money to pay for this. The Inflation Reproduction Act, as I call it. It kills me how many different groups are using the Inflation Reduction Act to help supply money. For instance, earlier yesterday, let's see, do I have the story open? I may not have the story open anymore. Hyundai, here it is, Hyundai, and see, they're part of Kia, Hyundai, and who else was in on this group? Maybe it was just them. Well, anyway, they're going to build a new battery plant. They're going to put $4.3 billion of electric vehicle plant in the United States, probably in Georgia. They're going to start building it later this year. And manufacturers must adhere to new U.S. sourcing requirements for EV battery components and critical minerals so that buyers of the vehicles can qualify for up to $7,500 in tax credits under the Inflation Reduction Act.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but shouldn't that act, and I'm not being just a smartass, I'm being honest, shouldn't that act help with inflation?
Right.
I mean, this is the opposite of that. This is going to hurt it.
Right.
Okay, so if there is some money allocated to help inflation, why are we spending it to make more inflation? On a failed dream that we know the timeline isn't real.
All right. So the Inflation Reduction Act probably needs its own segment at some point that we should talk about. But so here's another area where we're using a twist of government money to go build a bunch of batteries. Now, let's see, it will have an annual production capacity of 30 gigawatt hours, enough for 300,000 EVs. I have no doubt that that's true. I have no problem believing that they can create enough batteries for 300,000 EVs.
Okay, but then what?
But then what?
I mean, where are you going to charge them? Do you have the vehicles? How many of those batteries are bad? I mean, let's be honest, guys. There's last I looked at, it was over 15% of these batteries getting made are just thrown in the trash or recycled or whatever. But they come out, they don't work, so they're just discarded.
Okay, so we'll be polite and say 10% are no good.
Okay.
All right. Where are you going to throw 30,000 batteries?
In the back of a semi truck and have them go dump them in a swamp in Louisiana? I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Put them on Carnival cruise lines and have them dump them in international waters like they do the trash.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's what they need to do.
In fact, that's my theory on why orcas are attacking small ships. I've been reading all these stories. I'm sick of reading all the theories because the truth is the orcas are pissed off that we've thrown all our trash and medical waste in the ocean, and they just figure they're not stupid. They know the boats do it, so they'll just tip them all over.
Yeah. Yeah, if y'all haven't been tracking that, that's a great story. Along the coast of Spain and Portugal, there's a pod of 39 orcas who apparently are on some kind of revenge or that's one of the theories is that they're after vengeance because one of them got killed last year by a boat and now they're all going after the boats. And humans and killer whales have existed together for 100,000 years or whatever. I mean, we've never had an issue.
No. And kayakers used to go up next to them.
Oh yeah, and now there's this one pod, and they have how many boats have they taken out now, Steve?
I don't know, but they're like a hit squad, dude. I wouldn't even go out of those waters.
Yeah, it's like half a dozen boats damaged or sunk, and they've got a couple just this week, and it's been going on for like a year. So this isn't that happened once, some weekend, some odd thing. This is a group of killer whales that are attacking humans and boats.
And that's another thing, dude. What's the plan there? I mean, are they going to trank them? Are they all going to end up in SeaWorld here? Like, and be even more pissed off? Really? This was your choice?
Shaman 47.
I mean, I just can't think of what else what else do you do? Go out there and like talk therapy with them? Like they're mad, dude. They're pissed off.
Really sorry, man. I'm really sorry. Oh, we didn't mean to. I'm sorry about your friend.
I honestly believe maybe it's more than that too. I think maybe more are going to start to do it too, because look, I mean, it wouldn't shock me if everything in the ocean started acting like a great white. Because to be honest, we do just go take medical waste and everything and go, well, we don't have another place for it. So here you go. I mean, you got North Korea over there, like shooting nuclear missiles into the water and not pulling them out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's, I'm sure they claim that the warheads aren't live and whatnot. I'm sure we have some people who go down and check that they're not live, but nonetheless, they're still being launched in there.
Right.
It's like the ocean is not a toilet.
Really?
Well, I don't know. I don't think it is. I don't think it should be.
It is for orcas.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And that waste helps keep their environment going the way it is. I don't think that syringes and all the medical waste we dump in there is helping them.
Yeah, probably not.
I don't know.
So they're getting organized.
Yeah.
We're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah, they've had it. They've had it with no tip, no trip.
That's right. That's right.
So,
all right. Tell you what, we got lots to cover tonight. Steve did a great job pulling together a whole list of different things to talk about, but he gave me carte blanche to start where I wanted to start, and I just had to start off with that. More electric vehicle stuff. Just, throw us in the deep end and don't worry about how it's going to work. We'll figure out how to swim later, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Your opening story there blows me away because it's like a failure is trying to solve a problem by tripling down on the failure.
Right.
And I mean, like, even we are talking about it. And if you're saying, well, maybe you guys don't know everything, maybe we don't. But I mean, like, there should be somebody in that room saying the same thing we're saying. Like, are you guys stupid?
Yeah, they will have 21,000 battery electric vehicles delivered by 2026 and 45,000 by 2028.
Yeah.
Feasibility of achieving 100% electrification for the overall postal service delivery vehicle fleet will continue to be explored. But I mean, they'll pretty much be there. Anything bought after 2028 must be electric.
All right. If we need a commercial break, the next piece is
yeah, it's time for a commercial break. So let's go do that, and we'll be back here in just
people.
a couple of minutes. You're listening to TNCradio.live. Stay right there.
ParaWorks is a new way for drivers to find high-paying job opportunities. You can claim these job offers to stack with your platform work and make your workday much more efficient and profitable. By uploading your gig work history and creating a ParaWorks profile, you'll unlock access to better, higher-paying driving gigs in your area. When a Para partner tells us they need drivers, we make sure you're the right person for the job, then notify you immediately. If you like it, it's yours. Your work history is your resume. Make it work for you.
Are you looking for a new kind of gig work ride-along video? Well, look no further than the Long Island Dash Experience. Join Lou and Mary, the dynamic husband and wife duo, as they embark on thrilling adventures while delivering for top platforms like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Instacart, and Shipt. Get ready to be a fly on a wall and experience the excitement firsthand. Every shift is a unique adventure waiting to unfold.
Oh, he did it again! Oh, that's so... Oh my god, that's so scary!
Yeah, what the heck? I just saw that.
All right, here we come back in 10 seconds. It's good timing, Steve. And 3, 2, 1. And welcome back in TNCradio.live on a Friday night. Of a great long weekend. Makes it kind of an Uber Friday. Did you see what I did there? Uber Friday.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So welcome back in with us tonight. I'm Tom. He's Steve. We're going to be with you here for the next hour and a half or so, talking about news and all sorts of good things that are going on in the gig economy. Steve, you're up next. What you got for us?
Yeah, I was just actually communicating with somebody in the chat who is Tina Love, and she was saying, are you gonna talk about the veto of Uber Lyft? And I'm not surprised of the veto. So glad you could join us, Tina, because yes, we are going to talk about that right now. Because in a nutshell, I put the whole timeline together again. So 2 weeks ago on a Wednesday, in Minnesota, we were talking about legislation to have a minimal amount put on Uber and Lyft ride shares. They were actually going for within cents of the numbers that Seattle and the state of Washington both went for. Same kind of thing. The cost of living in Minnesota is about 1/3 of Washington state. So I think they should have probably taken that into account. But some really funny things went down. Or not funny. Just kind of showing corruption. I think even whether you like the bill or not, we saw corruption literally yesterday. So 2 Wednesdays ago, it was on the floor. They had to carry $1 million of medical. There is no company that does that. Was that a jumping point? If it was, I don't know how you make a jumping point something that's not possible. Like you usually ask for something real at least, but that wasn't real. They had to get that shut down. They pushed it. The legislation session was ending. They didn't get it done the next week. They got closer, and then Sunday or Saturday and Sunday they had to run the whole weekend, run the legislator, and they finally got to it Sunday night, and the House and Senate agreed. They passed the bill. We reported on it Monday. They passed the bill. This is passed. It's done. It's law. And the only thing that could stop it was a veto from the governor of Minnesota, who has never in his career vetoed anything. He vetoed it. He vetoed it yesterday.
Wow.
And he went against every single person in his political party. Because those that don't know, Minnesota is left, but it's pretty far left too, if you actually dig in.
Way left.
Yeah. There's you'll look at some members. Yes, there are some of the extreme far left, like the AOC crew and stuff are even in there. But but then they left lean anyway. So they had this done. They had this wrapped up, pretty little package, sent it back and forth, got it done on the Senate floor, and they got all the other bills they needed to passed, and this passed. The only thing that could hold it up was a veto. And everybody's like, so it's done. And the news was reporting like fire because this guy doesn't veto his whole career. He's never had a veto. This was his first one. And it was just, clearly, dude, to me, it's corruption. I don't know. Everybody can pick how they want to view this because this
Corruption in what way?
Because I don't think that if he wasn't in working with these companies, I don't think he would have. And I'm not saying that what he did, look, was it the right choice? I don't know. I don't live in Minnesota. I'm not privy to all the facts, but from what I've read, it seems like if you're trying to represent your state and do it correctly, and even do it in the way that the little bit I know about him and how he's done it, he usually goes with the House and the Senate because they represent the people of Minnesota. And he has really no good reason on why he's not doing this. He just came out with a veto. So in my book, he's obviously in bed with DoorDash or Uber or all of them. Or
so you think this bill was a good thing?
No. I'm here's what I'm saying. Whether it is or it isn't, or whether it is or it isn't for Minnesota, I'm kind of shocked that it got all the way through, because like we've been saying, Tom, we need a state to get all the way through. Okay, so if it looked like it was there, why is he going against everybody in his party for the first time ever on a gig worker bill?
Because he believed Uber.
I guess. I mean, I don't know, man. This is a guy who in his past, if you go look at his voting record, the reason they elected him to governor was because he was right in line with all these people on everything. And labor's a big thing in Minnesota. Labor's a big thing. Like they treat, I really expected this to pass through, and I guess I'm just saying, like, he makes a move that he has never done in his political career, and he's not a newbie. He's never done this, and he does it for this. It just, to me, the timing, the way it all passed, it just felt very Uber-like. Like, hey, man, just here's this suitcase of money, veto that because we can't have that happen.
Okay.
But I'm not, I'm more picking on the corruption because it makes me worry about when the good things come around. I mean, is it just all this? Is nothing going to pass? Is it all this damn corrupt?
What's the good stuff?
I don't know. I'm saying if somebody starts to come up with some good ideas that should be implemented, that, like here in Colorado, what we were fighting for, that didn't have money attached to it, but just transparency and right to challenge deactivation.
Right.
Like that got shot down by 2 Democrats who had already pledged their support of the bill. But then they shot it down before it even got on the Senate floor. And speaking of that, I want to take a quick interlude here and say that on August 5th in Denver, Colorado, we are having Stephanie Vigil for a town hall, an in-person town hall. Sergio from the Rideshare guy, I think, is going to try and join us, or he'll be here. I've invited a handful of other people, including two union members who sit on the drivers co-op board. That the drivers co-op here in Colorado got incorporated 2 weeks ago, and now are going to be a rideshare company. So there's lots going on. Stephanie's trying to build her case for the next session, and this actually falls at a good time. So August 5th here in Denver, we're going to have a bunch of people in person. We're going to have some Denver Post people there, some other news media. I'm going to ask Tom if he'll be running it on TNC Radio, and we just want it everywhere because get involved. I mean, call it in. We're going to be doing it for about 2 hours live. We'll take, even if you're not there in person, we'll try and get to your questions, and it's going to be a kind of professional run deal, and we will try and get to everything as we can. But I think it's one of the more important pieces I've done, or that I'm now planning. I haven't done it yet, but because I think that this is the kind of thing I always go for. I always tell people, like, this time people ask me, why do you have union members on? Or why do you have a gig collective on? Or these things that you totally don't agree with? And I always say the same thing, because I can't have a good understanding or a good conversation if I don't have them on. Can't just have people who agree with me on.
Right.
I mean, but this is how you don't get anywhere by just agreeing with somebody.
Absolutely, that's correct.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to having all the sides represented.
You're right, Steve. You're always right.
I know.
So we just agree. We all agree with you, Steve.
So, and yeah, and it backs up to Pedro's doing his gig con. He's doing it here in Denver, and that's going to be on the 4th. So it's kind of the way it'll work out is like a long weekend, and it might even, that might even get some more people over to our thing.
What day of the week is the 4th?
The 4th is a Friday, and the 5th that we're doing this is on a Saturday.
Okay, good.
So yeah, kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah, we'll open up some time there.
But yeah, that what happened in Minnesota. I don't know what's going to happen in the other states now. Yeah, I just don't know. I think the story there was very crazy. The way that Uber came in. It's sad that Uber was like the most calm of everybody in Minnesota. They're just sitting there going, well, we can't do that insurance because it doesn't exist. Oh, okay. Well, we'll strike that out. Okay. Well, why don't you come back when your bill works? And then they went back, and then this, and then Uber's agreeing on some prices, and then even Uber was okay with this. It was like a new Seattle thing, and I was thinking, why is it so high though? Why not to like, say I don't think you deserve that in Minnesota. I was just curious why it's the same rate as Seattle, where it's 3 times as expensive to live. Because there, when you do that kind of comparison, it's like that can't be the nationwide number. It's going to have to. If you're going to use something like that, you're going to need to do it to the cost of living, not just across the board. It's $1.45 a mile, 34 cents a minute, and a $5 minimum. It's not going to work.
What kind of a side story here, real quick, Steve? Let's see. Effective January 1st. If you drive a semi in St. Paul, Minnesota, you can no longer park it anywhere on any street.
If what?
You cannot park your truck in St. Paul, Minnesota. They've already banned them in Minneapolis, and it's created all sorts of issues. But if you have a truck over 26,000 pounds, they shall be permitted to stop, stand, or park on any street or alley unless such vehicle is actually and expeditiously engaged in the loading or unloading of passengers or materials from the vehicle, or is actually engaged in providing the services at that location unless otherwise provided by law. You cannot park. You can't say, well, I'm going to deliver over there tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., so I'm going to park over here overnight. You're not allowed to do that. You got to park outside the city.
But there, I know that sounds like, and then just park outside the city, but like that won't work either.
Yeah.
You're talking about a very big city.
There already is, we're already in a position where there is 1 parking spot per 11 trucks. Okay, when you're driving down the highway right now and you see all the trucks backed up in the rest areas and going all the way down onto the highway, there's simply no parking.
Yeah. I don't know why they just don't make everything EV, because that would solve everything.
Yeah, that solves everything, because, since we solved the parking spot problem, we've got no problem getting everything charged up.
Or carrying all that weight or anything.
Right.
Batteries, guys. I think they should just run on Duracells, like AAAs.
Yeah. 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 So anyway, Minnesota's just weird, aren't they?
I don't know. Gigan is in here from Minnesota. I've passed through Minnesota a few times in my life. I've done some production shows there, but I really don't have a ton of experience with the state. I do know it's one of those weird states where, like, outside of the Twin Cities, it's really basically the whole state's rural. Almost the whole population lives in the Twin Cities. Right.
3.5 million people live in Minnesota.
Yeah, and I would imagine Minneapolis, St. Paul has most of that. I don't know for sure. But yeah, one of the things, I don't know, Tom, if you saw this, I wanted to bring this up to you because I found this interesting. I've had a couple very different discussions on this week, so I wanted to hear your take on it. This Black Wolf app, blackwolfapp.com. Have you guys heard of this?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so Black Wolf app is rideshare that is right now only going to be in Atlanta and New York City. It is only drivers who carry weapons. You have to carry a gun to be a rider on their platform, and you have to be properly trained. You have to be.
Does it have to be a gun? Can it be like an M16 or a samurai sword? Or
well, I don't know. There are different levels, like, because you can say, if you go to the website, the defaults to the gun option. You're going to get a gun ride.
Okay. All right. Just checking. Oh, sorry.
But then it has one that says he doesn't carry a gun, but it's like he knows Jiu-Jitsu and he has a mace.
Right.
And then the next one is like, we can also transport your kids.
Okay.
So here's what I get about this is that I think it's cool because I think I think for a lot of people, like celebrities and high profile people, yes, this would be great. I think in cities, if they can honestly get a price point, which I think this is going to be the hardest part, if you can get a price point down far enough for these to operate, maybe you do have some ground here, because in those cities, people are getting sick of getting killed in ride shares. And to be honest, here's the view I've put out there a couple times this week is that, look, everybody on the Uber and Lyft platform, let's just say half. Let's be nice, because I think it's more. I've talked to enough drivers that I know carry and whatnot. I won't ever name any names, but because I don't want to get anybody deactivated or in trouble. But there are also people who don't care if people know it. But here's the thing: I think it's way more than half. But let's call it half. If half of the people, half of rideshare drivers even, are carrying a knife or a gun, that goes against the terms of service. And then you got to wonder, how trained are they? Like, and you don't know that they have a gun. So I mean, I'm saying, like, let's just even say 25%. So every fourth Uber you get in, somebody's carrying a gun, registered, not registered, but nobody knows about it. These people are like tactical trained. In fact, they get paid very well. We looked up their pay. Their pay is pretty awesome if you meet their standards. It's $60 a ride plus $1.45 a mile. Like, wow. Their base fare is $60 to take you somewhere.
Wow. I mean, so yeah, not changing the subject, but just out of curiosity on these higher rides like that group that was going to do the expensive cars in Charlotte, North Carolina, do we know how that's going?
No. I mean, that was their launch. We'll see. I think everybody gives them a month or two before they start writing on them again. You know, you got to let their like soft launch happen and then see what they really do.
I want to call them up and ask them how it's going.
Well, let's call them up right at the beginning of the second hour. Let's call them and request a car.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah,
like, you don't have a Rolls Royce? No, we do. What? We have a black one. Oh, you don't have a silver one? Damn.
Yeah, if you don't have a silver one, never mind. I had to pay double for silver. Yeah, forget it. All right. Yeah. Time for break 2. Let's take break 2, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. You're listening to TNCradio.live on a Friday night. We're live. Stay tuned.
Meet Joe. He is a gig worker trying to make money using his car. He uses multiple gig apps all at the same time to maximize his earnings. But this can be difficult and dangerous while driving. Sometimes the requests come in so fast, Joe can't pick and choose the best trips to take, which can result in lower pay or lower rated disruptive passengers. That was until Joe found Maximo, the automation app that helps gig workers accept and decline trip requests. Maximo will use the filters set by Joe, like time, distance, and rating, to determine which trips are best suited for Joe. When a trip request comes in, Joe doesn't need to worry. Maximo will compare the trip details to Joe's filters and then determine if it should automatically accept the trip, decline the trip, or allow Joe to decide by showing the per mile and per minute rates. When a trip has been accepted, Maximo will turn off the other apps that aren't on a trip. Once Joe finishes a trip, Maximo will turn everything back on. This will allow Joe to reduce his stress and frustration, drive safe, and focus on the important tasks. Check out Maximo at www.maximoapp.com.
What was that last one?
It's the date. They need to fix the date, man. I asked them to just take the date off, but that one's for the it's called Money Hungry. It's Kim's Side Money Plans and Zach Drives Fast. They do a thing on Wednesdays. Pretty good. It's on the Rideshare Guy channel, and it's so on Tuesdays it's Show Me the Money Club with Chris and Sergio. They talk about rideshare. On Money Hungry, they talk about all things delivery and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. All right. We got about 30 seconds or so before we're back. So what's up next?
We should talk about the Waymo now through Uber.
We have to.
We do. And luckily we got Dash Theory TV in Phoenix who's going to try this for us.
Okay.
So, and then you're going to try Cruise.
Right.
I'm so
I
scared.
still have seen no proof that that's a true story.
Cruise?
Yeah. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back in TNCradio.live. It's a Friday night. We're live with you for for Driver Nation right here on TNCradio.live. And Steve, what story do we have coming up next?
I think we got to talk about this Waymo Uber thing because I think it honestly kills me that they've sued each other so many times, and here we are for like their 10th marriage. It's like they've been divorced 9 times and they're going to go for it a 10th time. But this time I feel like it's like really insulting too. I don't know. Waymo has had a 1 mile radius block that they use from the airport to test out autonomous vehicles with people who are involved with Waymo. It's not an open app where anybody could have just got it and called for an autonomous. You have to have some level of involvement with Waymo or know somebody to get in one of these things. But now they're going to start doing it in same city, Phoenix. They're going to start doing Waymo rides through Uber. And the worst part about this story is that they're starting it right now. And we are 1 week away from the woman's trial starting who was in the autonomous, which is going to be in the county right next to where they're launching autonomous on the Uber app. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It just feels all sick. I don't really know.
That's pretty
weird.
Like,
should they be doing it now? It seems like it just seems like the timing where you're doing, like, again, Phoenix. I don't know what they're in with Phoenix is. I don't know why Phoenix hates their people.
I was just about to ask you, what is it about Phoenix that, other than, I guess, the weather, they don't get a lot of fog in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except for monsoon season, not a lot of rain.
Maybe they just, again, maybe it's just run by people who hate people. And he's just like, I don't care. Let them loose. I mean, look, we watched a video on Cruise last week that I brought into here on a side we hadn't seen of the Cruise thing from San Francisco, the governor, the head of the fire department, all these other people who we hadn't heard from, who we kind of always figured, where do they stand with all this? But you hadn't heard from them. And it was an NBC report too, which normally that's not where we get news from because it's hard to find real news there. But this was a straight up video about how do you feel about it? The governor wants it, or the mayor wants it out. The fire department says they're just a nightmare. I mean, finally it was like the other side of it. And I can't imagine that there's not an entire thing like that in Phoenix going on too, where they're like, we hate these things.
Yeah, there has to be some. Do we know anybody in Phoenix? We don't have anybody online here from Phoenix, right?
Not tonight, but we do. One of the guys that does the Thursday roundtable with us, John Dash Theory TV, he lives in Phoenix.
And what are his feelings? I mean, what does he hear?
He's been avoiding it, but he promised us last night that he would go take one.
Okay.
So, because I mean, like, again, who knows? I don't even know. There's a bunch of articles out on it, but I'm not even sure if it says that, if it got to the fact if it says that there will be a driver in the car or if these are going to be driverless. That's always my first thing.
That's a great question. I just read the article and I didn't.
Yeah, I read a couple. The one I posted from The Verge is one I had not read, so I wanted to see if it was maybe in here, but I think they're avoiding the question there because, again, as we've said a million times, it's not autonomous if there's a driver up front.
Right.
I'm sorry. Like, that's called testing and you have a driver up front. Okay.
Right.
But, like if there's no driver, I mean, I'm surprised. Like I go to Vegas and autonomous exists, but it has two people, an engineer and a driver up front. But if you go to San Francisco at night, there's nobody in the cars. I don't know. I can't help but think there's dirty stuff going on. That's why. I mean, that's why they go with this stuff. I mean, I don't know. Why would you allow these cars unless you're getting a lot of money or something back, some kickback to the city? There's no reason you would just go, sure, come on in.
Okay. Yeah.
But then as we learned from the mayor of San Francisco, he just doesn't think that way. So obviously it's he was, and if you remember, he was talking about how it's a California thing that he can't fight. It's not a city thing. So is it like the governor? Is it Newsom? It's like, is he getting money from all this? I mean, I don't know. Yeah. We have groups that look into all this kind of money and stuff, and I feel like they all look at these at things that we know are either sketchy or whatever. And I'm always like, on these things, I'm like, where are they? Where's the committee on this one to make sure the spending's being not harmful like the cigarette companies used to do?
Right.
It's, I don't know. I'm not a fan, and I don't understand how it works. Like I would get very active and need to understand if they came to my town. If in Denver they were going to be driving around here, I want to now know why. Why isn't this in every town? What did we do for a deal that all the other cities said, not us?
Right.
Because I mean, there has to be something. Otherwise, these companies would be dispatching these death machines everywhere.
Death machines.
I mean, I don't know what else to call them, man. If you take the human out of it, they're robot killers. I mean, you might as well call it robot assassin.
Maybe I'm spelling this wrong. How do you spell cruise as in the cruise car?
Just like you're thinking, Cruise.
No, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Put Cruise autonomous. Because I think it might be GM.
Okay.
Did it come up that way?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm still, I've been looking for the thing that says, here's the announcement from the city of Houston. But other than a couple of media articles that says they're coming to Houston, I've yet to find anything official from anybody that, we're excited about this. This is going to happen.
Well, I'll look at the top of the hour break. I'll see if I can find something. I don't know. I mean, like, I don't think they announce. There's not enough cities that they get to go to that they don't announce many. I mean, it's like, like they're going to Houston. It's like their third city, so it's like I don't think you'd lie about it.
Well, but I'm just wondering, is this in cooperation? Do they have permission from the city of Houston?
So the website is called getcruise.com.
Okay. But again, I'm looking for, like the mayor of Houston says, we welcome crews with open arms. We can't wait for this to happen.
But the mayor of San Francisco said, we absolutely want you out of here, and they're still there.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm.
So even if the mayor of Houston did say they're welcome or we don't want them, they're still going to come.
See,
we had the mayor of San Francisco say, this doesn't work. This will cause major problems if we release more of these. I hate this. So, I can
find article after article that they're coming to Houston. That's not hard to find. Okay. I have yet to find anything that says the city of Houston recognizes that they're coming, or they're happy they're coming, or we want them to come, or anything.
Yeah. I'm going to try and find at the top of the hour. I'm going to try and find something. I'm on their website looking at their blog, and they have 70 results, and I was like, oh, okay. And I thought it was descending order, but they're obviously not, because it's like April 28th, and then it's November 21st last year, and then it's May 11th. So they're out of order too.
Oh, love it.
Probably just to distract, and but yeah, I'm sure I'll look at, because I would like to find it too. Obviously, I'm thinking their website should have that's a city they're launching in, but I can't even find where on the website where it says what cities they are in, or it doesn't even say San Francisco. I can't find it.
All right. Well, I'll keep looking, and I know some people in the city of Houston government, and so let me put all my cards on the table. I'm looking for somebody that I can call with the city of Houston and basically have them on this program and have us say, what the hell are you thinking? What are you doing?
So here's JP. He's saying, yeah, but see, that's what we're pointing out, JP, is that like in San Francisco, you had municipals, you had the fire department, the police department, they've both signed off on get these things out of here. The mayor of San Francisco says we don't want them. There's only 3 or 4 launched in the city, and they're like, we don't want them anymore. Get them out. And he even in the news thing that we were watching said that he just didn't have the pull, that it was a California decision, a state decision. And he was talking about what a mess it would be, and if we keep doing this, we're just going to get more and more problems. So I'm not sure where, when you say that, cities that are allowing it, it's at least in California, like we know, it's not the city, it's the state allowing it to be in a city. And I find that to be a very weird way of.
And given what I know about the state government in Texas, I just don't understand. I just don't see it being real.
Well, I don't know. San Francisco said the same thing. They had a driver for a few weeks, and they didn't have a driver.
Yeah.
They just did it. I guess, until I don't believe it either, Tom, is the thing. And if I lived in Houston, I'd be right there with you going, no, this ain't happening. No way. But look, it happened in Phoenix. It happened in San Francisco. In Phoenix, they got so mad they were throwing rocks over the bridges at them. Well,
it's break time. We got to run to the top of the hour break here. So we'll go do that, and we'll keep looking at all this. And we got plenty more to talk about on the other side. You're listening to TNCradio.live. This is Driver Nation. Stay right there.
ParaWorks is a new way for drivers to find high-paying job opportunities. You can claim these job offers to stack with your platform work and make your workday much more efficient and profitable. By uploading your gig work history and creating a ParaWorks profile, you'll unlock access to better, higher paying driving gigs in your area. When a para partner tells us they need drivers, we make sure you're the right person for the job, then notify you immediately. If you like it, it's yours. Your work history is your resume. Make it work for you.
Are you looking for a new kind of gig work ride-along video? Well, look no further than the Long Island Dash Experience. Join Lou and Mary, the dynamic husband and wife duo, as they embark on thrilling adventures while delivering for top platforms like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Instacart, and Shipt. Get ready to be a fly on the wall and experience the excitement firsthand. Every shift is a unique adventure waiting to unfold.
Oh, he did it again! Oh, that's so... Oh my God, that's so scary!
Yeah, what the heck? I just saw that.
Hi, my name is Ellen, and this is Delivering with Ellen. Thank you for watching. Always accepting new subscribers. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Are you tired of being limited by the algorithms of the courier apps? Do you want to take control of your earning potential as an independent contractor? Hi, my name is Hannibal, and I run the Hannibal is Hungry YouTube channel. Tune into the Beyond the Algorithm live stream with my co-host Steve, Rideshare Rodeo. In each episode, we share valuable insights and tips on how to achieve income beyond the courier apps and become a true independent contractor. Join us for practical advice and inspiring stories that help you know your worth and maximize your earning potential. Don't miss the Beyond the Algorithm live stream on the Hannibal is Hungry YouTube channel.
Are you a DoorDash delivery driver? Would you like to be safer and less stressed while driving and earn more at the same time? The Driver's Utility Helper app allows you to do just that. Create custom filters and its automated system does the work for you, automatically declining unwanted low-paying requests and accepting more profitable requests so you can focus on driving. Visit acceptordecline.com to get started today.
Did you find it? I didn't find it. Oh, you didn't even hear me.
I didn't. What did you say?
I said, did you find it? I couldn't. I didn't even find it. I was looking, but
no. I've just went through every press release from the city of Houston from the last couple of months. The mayor did a big speech about the future of transportation in Houston at the beginning of the month. Mayor Turner discusses Houston's new transportation paradigm, and in there he said, "Eventually, we'll have autonomous vehicles."
Yeah.
It was certainly no commitment to "Here comes Cruise, get ready."
But as we learned, I mean, again, you're right. The mayor should have say in it, but let's be honest. I mean, the mayor of San Francisco had no say in it.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't fit with what I know about Texas. It just doesn't.
No, I mean, I don't live in Texas, but I know you guys are pretty hardcore about your beliefs, and to bring in something that doesn't work doesn't seem very Texas.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back in TNCradio.live, hour two of Driver Nation. I'm Tom. He's Steve. We'll be with you to the top of the hour, talking all things about the gig economy and whatever else might come before us. Steve, I looked during the break, looked at every single press release I could possibly find from the city of Houston. I see nothing about crews. I mean, again, I'm not saying they're not coming.
Right, you've seen the same articles I have.
Yeah, I just don't know that the city of Houston's been informed yet.
Which I'm not laughing at. I'm laughing because it might be true. They might be coming there, and Houston doesn't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of these auto testing pilot programs. Like maybe they see part of it's how long until we get kicked out. Do they kick us out?
Well, I mean, they're very Uber in their approach, aren't they?
Yeah, or can, like, once they say you got to leave, can we just throw briefcases of money at it?
Right.
And see how many it takes to shut them up.
Yeah, we'll see who says you have to go. We'll try to pay them off. If that doesn't work, we'll try to knock them off. And if that doesn't work, we'll threaten to leave, which is good because we already wanted you to leave. And when that doesn't work, we'll just keep doing it, whatever we want anyway.
So this isn't even a whole story. I just want to mention this because I find it very crazy. I mean, there is a whole story here. If you guys want to go through all the earnings in the Q2 of 2020 or Q4 of 2022 and all that for earnings of Lyft, but let's not, because we already knew they were going up.
Yeah, let's spend the rest of the hour going over all that.
No, but I want to say this. There's a $1 billion class action suit on DoorDash right now. Just happened. Wow. $1 billion. I am reading as of today, and this is Bazinga talking about the stock. It's this is a stock article. But at the bottom, it says the company still has $1.75 billion. Now, the reason I say that's because if they had that lawsuit on their hands, that plus day-to-day operations would put them out of business in a couple months. I mean, I didn't know it got that low. They're under $2 billion now.
Yeah, but first of all,
I mean, it's Hail Mary on every play time.
A $1 billion lawsuit doesn't stand the sniff test to start with. Okay, it just doesn't.
No, I'm just saying the lawyers, everything that they're going to need to pony up, and and I also was to just add it in here because I don't want to spend too much time on Lyft. But I mean, Lyft is entering Canada again. They did it once, now they're doing it again. You don't have the money to do this. Like it's right. Global takeover Lyft. It's out of your reach. You're done. You're out of the game. You screwed up, man. Like there was a global pandemic. Rideshare stopped altogether in one day, and everything went to food delivery. And you guys spent the entire pandemic not adding food delivery. I mean, to me, you should get an award.
Yeah, for stupidity. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that's really all I had on Lyft. I was shocked at the number. I'm shocked already. I mean, we were talking about when it was 10. We talked about when they just crossed under 5. That was about a month ago. Now they're at 1 point. I mean, seriously, this is no joke. If something doesn't happen, they're done.
They're done.
They're done.
The dead man walking.
Yeah, I mean.
So let's, following that for just a second, got a lot of press this week, and I think pretty much every major city had something on it, and that Lyft is more expensive than Uber in most U.S. cities.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how did they do this? I'm really curious as to, and I'm looking to our in studio audience here on YouTube to kind of help me if I'm thinking through this properly. Okay, Saving Spot is the name of the company that did the study, and what they did was they took 6 mile units. I don't know why 6 miles, because it's the average. I don't know. Anyway, 6 mile units, and compared Uber's prices versus Lyft prices to determine which one was most expensive on the 6 mile journey in the 150 most populated cities in the United States. And the key findings were Wisconsin had the biggest gap with a 6 mile cost. Let's see. Lyft was 6 miles cheaper, or I'm sorry, $4.71 cheaper than it was $4.71 less with an Uber. Uber is $12 cheaper than Lyft in New Orleans, and Lyft is cheaper by $10, $9.33 in New York City. Here's my question, my problem.
$6 and something in Philly.
Yeah. So here's my question / problem with this. How did they do this study? Did they look at the actual cost? Did they take into account time of day? Did they look at whether or not surges were going on? Or no. What they did in all of this was they compared their online fare estimators.
God, I love good journalism.
Is it just me, and you guys can tell me if I'm out to lunch here. I look at those fare estimators as a little bit like Santa's radar on Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cute to have them out there, and the kids really like it, but it has really nothing to do with reality whatsoever.
No, and in fact, I mean, look, the fare estimator, it's a joke. Let's just shoot it out of the sky that bluntly, because if you're at the airport and you open your app, and let's say Uber, and you check it, and you're like, "Ooh, that's expensive," and you close it and you open Lyft and you reopen Uber, it won't go down. It's going to go up in price. When you need a car from the airport and you close the app, it knows you still need a car. So it leaves it in the cache. Now, if you open Lyft, it's not saying, "Oh, he opened Lyft, let's make it more," or "Let's undercut Lyft." It's saying, if he opens this Uber app again, double the price or whatever.
Because now he really needs it.
I mean, that's what happens every time. You never ever are at the airport. You open the Uber or Lyft app, see a price, wait 5 minutes, open it again, and ever will see a lesser price.
So my question then, and I'm looking over here. When I'm looking over here, I'm looking at the screen for everybody who is on YouTube. My question is to you guys: am I smoking something here, or do you guys actually believe that the fare estimators online are real? Anybody?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the algorithm for both those companies is so dynamic. There is no way to estimate. There was a time when there was one estimator I remember that was a website. It didn't really estimate price, but for drivers it was great. It actually ended up going away. It never was an app, but you could go there and you could see what the surge multiplier, when it was multiplier, not flat surge. When it was a multiplier, you could go there and see what the multiplier was for your area. You could put in your zip code and it would show you the multiplier for the whole area. And it was basing it on data that came from Argyle, not from the rideshare companies. So it was getting the data directly that the rideshare companies didn't want you to have and saying, here's what the surge amount should be, 3 times, 2.5 times. And you could look at it against your map. And for a while they didn't match up, but then they sure as heck started matching up when the multiplier was around, because Uber and Lyft learned about it. And that's Argyle's who Uber and Lyft used. So, I mean, it's the data is coming right from the same place.
Which data? You lost me there.
The data of the data is all being run through Argyle, processed through Argyle. It's how they use API data is through Argyle. And so Argyle is actually in touch with how much the surging is in each market. So they could put it up there on their own map and say, hey, look. But it wasn't Argyle. It was another company using Argyle. The problem with Argyle, we paratried them for a while too. It's a great service. It charges about 10 times what you need to pay for the whatever service you might be looking for. Yes, it's probably the best, but it's so overpriced that it's not a doable option. But it did expose something, and I think it made them stay right. But I don't think there's estimators out there anymore that can work at all. These algorithms are even beyond some of their coders.
Well, JP's agreeing with me, and I think most people do. That this made a lot of press throughout the country, and I think it's completely flawed and just really bad journalism. Just bad journalism.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice going, journalists. You just proved the point that you should be replaced by chat bot. So thanks a lot, man. Or woman, or whoever you were. Or all you people. And the worst part about this, Tom, you and I know this, is that like somebody writes an article like that, and other articles, other newspapers pick it up. That's how lazy they are. Let's run this article where he didn't know it.
And some of these didn't show up. I mean, so he wrote this on May the 4th. It didn't really catch on nationally till the middle of the month, and now we've got different cities and so forth running with it. And this is filler. We've got to fill 3 minutes before the end of the newscast. Let's do this. Lyft is cheaper in Houston than it is or Lyft is cheaper than Uber in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And they run this filler, and they zoom in on Houston, and there you go.
I mean, my guess is that Uber knew of a reporter and just said, "Hey, we're cheaper in these cities by this much," and they said, "Are you sure?" And Uber's like, "Yeah, of course, dude. We don't lie." And he said, "Okay, I'm gonna run with those numbers." And he didn't research it at all, and actually did a huge PR gain for Uber.
No, I wish it was that. I mean, using these fare estimators that are online on Uber.com and Lyft.com to make a decision as to which one's cheaper, it to me is just ridiculous. Why would you believe that?
Yeah, I don't know.
And it, like I said, does not take into account any of the factors. Time of day. I mean, in Houston, there's a huge difference trying to go downtown at 8 o'clock in the morning versus trying to go down to Galveston at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
It could be the same distance, but where you're going, what time of day it is, all that kind of stuff. So they pick a 6 mile spot. How did they adjust for the timing? I don't know. Anyway, caught my eye. It got a lot of press this month, so wanted to go there for a minute. What you got next, Steve?
As we roll into this holiday weekend. Well, I mean, I guess let's talk. I mean, I don't think we talked about it last week. I mean, we should be talking about this. Why did you see this lawsuit for DoorDash and the iPhone users? I'm sure some people have seen this already, but
I saw that, but I didn't open that one up. What's that about?
Okay, so DoorDash and this is unlike what you were just talking about. This has a lot of data behind it. This one, because this is the $1 billion class action suit now. So again, let's remember before I even talk about this that the company I'm about to speak about, DoorDash, awful company, but they've been caught twice stealing your tips. Twice. The first time they got caught, they had to attend like moral ethical classes and they had to pay back the tips and blah, 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 blah. The second time they got caught, they stole 3 times as much, and it was 4 months later. So 2 public times they were stealing your tips, and they blamed it on the algo or whatever. Oh, our computer's we don't have control of it. It just takes money when it wants it. I don't know. I mean, that kind of stupid excuse, and a couple fines, slaps on the wrist, go ahead. Now, DoorDash is being accused of charging iPhone users higher prices than Android users, a claim the company obviously says is blatantly false. So the class action lawsuit filed earlier this month, DoorDash has expanded their range fee, is their quote. An extra charge for restaurants that are farther away, even when their orders are identical to Android users, that they're more on iPhone if they're in the expanded range. The complaint also, and this was the bigger of the two, the complaint also says that members of DoorDash's Dash Pass program are more likely to be charged an extended range fee than non-subscribers. So to this I say, if you have an iPhone and you are a DoorDash Dash Pass member, which is $9.99 a month, so it's $120 a year. Okay. So if you're paying for that extra Dash Pass cost, you are more likely to be charged an expanded range fee on an iPhone. Whereas that shouldn't apply to either, but especially a Dash Pass person, because you're paying for that extra thing. But the accusations are part of a larger lawsuit filed by the U.S. District Court in Maryland and relating to the fees DoorDash charges consumers. The suit is asking for $1 billion in relief for a proposed class of potentially millions of DoorDash customers, it argues, were charged inappropriate or illegal fees. So, DoorDash denied the allegations, and their quote was, "DoorDash does not charge more based on the type of phone you use, period." The company said in a statement, "Any allegations that we deliberately charge iPhone and Android users different amounts or only charge Dash Pass members an expanded range fee are blatantly false and completely ridiculous. We categorically reject the untrue claims in the lawsuit and look forward to vigorously fighting them." Seems like for a defensive statement, it's pretty aggressive. I gotta just say. But so then you got, they performed several tests on this, did comparisons of iPhone to Android. And in the end, the bottom line is the difference in cost ranged from 8 to 32% more with an iPhone in every test. So, we had a little comical fun with this last night, and we were saying, like, what do they think, Android and iPhone people don't hang out or something? Like, we don't know each other. So we're never going to compare. I mean, like, this seems really stupid. I don't know why they did this. I don't know why. Again, it's the same playbook. Like, this quote their DoorDash quote about "we're going to vigorously fight" is almost, it reminds me exactly of when they were caught stealing tips. This is what they said. We had nothing to do with this. Well, then why did you say that you were guilty in court when it came to it? Because the initial statement was, we didn't do that. And then it was like, yeah, we did that. Sorry about that. Our computer's known to charge people weird amounts.
Okay. Well,
I mean, but the bottom line is they didn't see any time that the Android was more. They saw no times that they were the same even. And this was over it depends on which article you're reading, but some of them have timelines that this was done over a 3 to 5 week period. So that they were doing these tests, and they couldn't find any times the Android was more. And that, to me,
wow.
It's one thing if like some of them were more, but if every iPhone one is more,
that's weird.
It's almost like, to me, it almost feels like you've classed people. And I was saying also last night that I don't even think I don't know this for a fact because I have an iPhone, but I believe a new Android and a new iPhone are about the same price now. It's not like one's roughly any more than the other. Right, they're both like way too expensive.
They're way up there.
Yeah. So
that's why I bought the other one.
But I guess I just get shocked. I'm shocked that they're doing this. I'm shocked they would, like, with everything going on, I'm shocked they would even not be on something like this and fix it.
Right.
Because this is so blatant.
Well, speaking of blatant, don't call me Karen. Talk about that, and where am I going with this? Oh, these people at Uber, are they just, oh my God. We'll talk about it in a minute. TNCradio.live. Stay tuned.
Meet Joe. He is a gig worker trying to make money using his car. He uses multiple gig apps all at the same time to maximize his earnings. But this can be difficult and dangerous while driving. Sometimes the requests come in so fast, Joe can't pick and choose the best trips to take, which can result in lower pay or lower rated disruptive passengers. That was until Joe found Maximo, the automation app that helps gig workers accept and decline trip requests. Maximo will use the filters set by Joe, like time, distance, and rating, to determine which trips are best suited for Joe. When a trip request comes in, Joe doesn't need to worry. Maximo will compare the trip details to Joe's filters and then determine if it should automatically accept the trip, decline the trip, or allow Joe to decide by showing the per mile and per minute rates. When a trip has been accepted, Maximo will turn off the other apps that aren't on a trip. Once Joe finishes a trip, Maximo will turn everything back on. This will allow Joe to reduce his stress and frustration, drive safe, and focus on the important tasks. Check out Maximo at www.maximoapp.com.
All right. Coming back here in 18 seconds.
We also didn't talk about Mike Karubi.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back in TNCradio.live. This is Driver Nation on a Friday night. I'm Tom. He's Steve, and Gary is AWOL. No, he does have a leave. So, doing things with the family this weekend. So that's good. So Steve, I mentioned it right before. What was the name of the movie that was out last summer? I think it was, about the culture at Uber and the beginning of Uber and all that kind of stuff.
The movie? You mean the miniseries?
Yeah.
It was based on the book Ubered. I don't remember. It was a Hulu show, right?
I don't remember who did it now. No, I don't think so, because I don't have Hulu. It made a great impression on us.
Yeah. No, but the show did. I mean, I just can't remember the name of. I mean, I know the book was based on the book Ubered.
Super Pumped.
Yeah. Showtime.
So Super Pumped and started Joseph Gordon-Levitt and a bunch of other recognizable people, and very, very well done. 7 episodes and very entertaining, but really, really tackled an insidious, downright disgusting culture within Uber. Really more like a bad 80s frat than...
I was just going to say, they really dogged the boys club there. But how could they not? Susan Fowler wrote such a scathing piece on them that was correct, too. So
right. So it's not like they just made this up. So a while back, they hired a woman,
Karen,
whose name is Karen. No, her name is Bo Young Lee. And Bo's job was to run the department for cleaning up the culture, basically. Okay, the diversity department, and she's a knucklehead.
She was the Department of Equity and Inclusion.
Right. Thank you. I couldn't remember what it's for. Department of Equity and Inclusion. I mean, right away, gag me. But but she held these sessions that were part of a Moving Forward series on discussions on race, minority experiences, and organized by the company in the wake of the 2020 Black Lives Matter protest. The focus on the discomfort of white women, specifically over the term Karen, was denounced as being insensitive towards people of color. So in other words, she did an episode of this stuff on Don't Call Me Karen, because that's a mean thing to do, is to call me Karen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what, Stephen, in your mind, if you hear somebody being called Karen or being called a Karen, what do you take from that? What do you think they are?
Well, first of all, I think it was funny in the beginning. Now I think everybody's being called a Karen. I think it's way overused. Like, people are looking for Karens and they're videotaping them and putting it on TikTok, and everybody's a Karen now.
Right.
And so, but my biggest takeaway from this story is that she is the Department of Equity and Inclusion after Susan Fowler blew the whistle and was the whistleblower at Uber on the Boys Club. So now she's taking over to make sure that everything's equity and inclusion, and she's doing these things on Karen, on a white woman, when really she's supposed to be talking and representing the Black and Hispanic people.
Right. Who were offended that there's this. So you never answered my question, but Karen is a derogatory word for white women who seem to think that they have special privileges. The ones who are saying, they demand to see the manager, and they tend to be racial. And there was the big incident in Central Park, really disgusting, where the woman was accusing a Black man of harassing her when really she was just being a jerk. And so, but apparently Bo Young Lee was concerned that white women being called Karens was mean, and that they shouldn't do that. And of course, this didn't go over real well. One staffer, a Black staffer, argued that diversity sessions should not include, quote, tone-deaf, offensive, and triggering conversations. Lee reported to have replied, "Sometimes being pushed out of your own strategic ignorance is the right thing to do." Oh my gosh.
I mean, they suspended her. I don't know. I really don't know where to go from there, because again, this is everybody dogs on the Uber culture. Everybody dogs on it, and they really dog on the early days, the Travis Kalanick days, and look, it's like, it's still continuing. It's just not the Boys Club now. Now it's like the interracial Karen Association of Inequality.
Well, the thing is, if you take ignorant people, and yes, I am calling you, Bo Young Lee, ignorant. If you take ignorant people and put them in charge of such things, you're going to get ignorant results.
Yeah.
Okay. And
I feel like when they brought her in, it was to be exactly what they wanted, and she broke that mold. And that at Uber is a no-no.
What do you mean?
Like, I feel like they like, this was what they, almost like they didn't say it, but like they were like, "Hey, don't do this," and then she did this.
Well,
like, it's not like they, like, what she should have had a lot more freedom with a job like that, diversity, equity, and inclusion. But to be honest, like, that only apply, as I see it at Uber, that only applies to what they want you to write up. Well, I think she decided what kind of Karen Fowler did. Like, wait, we're not, and she kind of went rogue in a bad way.
Well, yeah. I mean, she clearly doesn't understand the issues and the arguments that are out there.
But okay. I feel like there's a lot more of her than just her.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it almost makes me want to call some of these people Karens. Only because it's derogatory, not because they're white privileged. Because I honestly don't believe that if we're going to use the term Karen, I don't think it should be about white privilege. I think it should be about anybody who's acting privileged or overstepping or using things to their advantage that they shouldn't, like the race card and stuff. I'm not a fan.
Well, yeah, no, I get that. I just, when is Uber going to get this even partially right? They're so far off. I mean, to the point that, you can actually make a movie about or a mini series about how far off they are.
Well, I mean, so you say, when are they going to get it right? Do you think that Uber in their inner meetings of the core most people decided, you know what, we should have a diversity, equity, and inclusion officer? Or do you think that they've been threatened in so many ways? They're like, hey, create this position,
right,
and get somebody in there that everybody can chew on.
Well, yeah.
I mean, like, to be honest, I guess I'm saying I don't even think this should be a position. I'm just being honest.
Okay, well, but if you're going to do it, bring in somebody who actually knows how to do it.
Yeah.
Because clearly Bo Younglee had no idea what she was doing, and she was in that position for 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, there's a lot of people in this game that probably should be let go. I mean, none of these people have clean track records. None of them. And by that, I don't mean like they've been arrested or this. I just mean like in their field, it's kind of like a lot of them are scumbags.
Yep.
And yet, if she were to leave Uber, she'd be hired by somebody else to do the same type of job. Even though it's like, why'd you get hired from Uber? For doing my job and having a Karen seminar? Well, we'll hire you. Come on. It's like they're like still interwoven. So these people still can go get jobs in the tech industry because they're known. Like somebody that hired her would know what they're getting. So it's almost like you're buying a her.
Perhaps. All right, what you get next? We've beaten that Karen to death.
Let me see. What is well, we got a short one here. So all right. How a DoorDasher customer in Alaska got their McDonald's order delivered via plane.
What?
I mean, we're running out of time, so let's roll with something nice and easy.
Roll with that. We got 5 minutes.
A look at how fears are growing that comprehensive tech reform might get derailed as Congress pushes to protect kids online. All this stuff. So let me get down to this story here. I don't know why they moved it. It wasn't. Oh, here it is. Okay. Here we go. If you thought waiting an hour for food delivery was tough, think again. People who live, it keeps putting up those pop-ups. People who live in at least one remote village in Alaska get their food flown in by plane. This could take days to arrive. TikToker at Alaska_life_ documented what this unorthodox process is like in a video. So when he quote here, when you live in a remote village in Alaska with no fast food restaurants, so you gotta DoorDash from the big city and have it flown to you. Okay, so while most people order a few things from McDonald's, the TikToker supersized their order in order to justify the long journey. The 2 frozen Coca-Cola drinks, 2 frozen Fanta Blue raspberries, 5 French fries, 3 20-piece McNuggets, and 6 Big Macs.
Go, baby. I call that lunch.
In the instructions, they told the driver to hand the food over to the people at the counter at the airport. Hold on. According to the New York Times, food delivery orders get loaded onto small planes from carriers like Alaska Air Transit. They transport everything from diapers to produce to mail for people who live in remote areas of Alaska. They now also deliver Uber Eats and DoorDash orders as a way for people to enjoy a taste of the big city.
Wow.
Really? That's the big city, huh? Okay. Anyway, it sounds counterproductive, but the food is kept fresh by by keeping it cold. The New York Times reported that DoorDash orders are boxed and refrigerated when they arrive at the airline. The customer then drives to the airport to pick up the order. From there, they can eat it cold or microwave it.
Yeah, because nothing's better than a 4-day-old Big Mac served
I was going
cold.
to say the fries, man. Who's eating cold?
Cold fries, nothing's better.
I mean, seeing how intense the process is has led to many responses. Things like, that is hilarious. I love it. One wrote, viewers had a lot of questions. Are those frozen drinks still going to be frozen? Laughing. So another wondered what would happen if McDonald's messed up the order. It wouldn't be easy for them to ship it over a corrected order.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I gave you 5 Big Macs and a quarter pounder.
This isn't my order. The TikToker shared that some insights. I always check order before I let them bag it up when it's going to the airport. This one had freezes and they were filled in some, take some out. But although the food should stay fresh by being refrigerated, one person was grossed out at the thought of receiving cold food. That's going to be very cold by the time that person gets it. Cold fries are nasty, this person wrote. Another saw the whole thing as a nasty waste of money. You choose to do this. It's not a necessity. Just a waste of money. I wish I had disposable income like this. And then the comments just keep going on. But one thing they didn't hit on is how much it cost. I mean, and how much does it cost? I mean, seriously. I mean, so like here I can turn on my DoorDash app. I can walk. I can take a scooter. I can take a bike. I can use my car. But are you telling me that up in Alaska, you can be a puddle hopper in a plane and be like a Tundra? You can register your plane to.
Yeah.
Like I gotta get this McDonald's to Camp 5, population 6 stat. They need these fries.
That's right. While they're still hot.
I don't know. I mean, I guess Alaska's a different thing, but what are you not getting? I mean, I guess that's part of the point. You're not getting it for days. And even that, it has to be taken to the airport. I would never go to my airport, walk in, deal with all that to get an order to the counter. And then in the end, days later, they have to go to the airport and pick it up. I mean, that's... I don't know what to tell you.
Just the delivery and the tip, the person got a $21.80 tip. So the delivery and tip, not the food, just the delivery and tip was $24.30.
So again, I mean, where's the carbon offset and where is the gas charge on the plane? Because this ain't cheap, man. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how many people do this. I don't know. And I don't know why they're choosing McDonald's and Burger King. Like, I can see if maybe you lived in Anchorage for a while and you moved away and your favorite restaurant's there, some like little place. Maybe once in a while you want to order in something big and get, even a whole catered event or something, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, hey, it's time for our final break. So let's do that. We'll take our break, come back and start wrapping things up. You're listening to TNCradio.live. It's a Friday night. This is Driver Nation. I'm Tom. He's Steve. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Are you looking for a new kind of gig work ride-along video? Well, look no further than the Long Island Dash experience. Join Lou and Mary, the dynamic husband and wife duo, as they embark on thrilling adventures while delivering for top platforms like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Instacart, and Shipt. Get ready to be a fly on the wall and experience the excitement firsthand. Every shift is a unique adventure waiting to unfold.
Oh, he did it again! Oh, that's so... Oh my God, that's so scary!
Yeah, what the heck? I just saw that.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Oops. There you go. A little late, but there it is.
Competing for shoppers' attention is a challenge.
Huh?
We said it's a challenge.
No, I don't want any salad.
Just take the multitapster, who's almost too distracted to check out.
Check out what?
But with Bolt, 71% of shoppers stay logged in and check out in one click. So coming back again and again is a breeze.
It is a little breezy in here.
Mm-mm-mm.
Uber is allowing teenagers as young as 13 to ride unaccompanied in some places starting this week. Many people think this may be a bad move. Others say it's already been going on regardless of the rules. Correspondent Charles Watson reports from Atlanta.
13 is really young.
It's really dangerous.
Parents and those alike say they're on the fence about Uber's newest feature. It allows minors as young as 13 years old to set up a parent-approved teen account and use the ride-sharing service all by themselves. Prior to its rollout in select cities, Uber says teens were already using the service under the radar. The company says this new feature now adds a layer of protection, including the ability for minors to record audio for the duration of a ride, and Uber will automatically let parents track a child's location, unlike other tracking services that need to be shared by users.
We wanted to provide flexibility for guardians and parents while giving them peace of mind. Not all drivers are eligible. For a driver to be eligible to provide trips to teens, they need to be an experienced driver on our platform.
The company says drivers need to be experienced with hundreds of trips under their belt, and they must have a high user rating before a teen steps foot in their car. Despite the safety features, child advocates say there are still concerns about kids riding in a car one-on-one with a stranger. One child safety advocate says it's an opportunity for predators to potentially groom impressionable teens.
What could happen if they exchanged information and continue to have a relationship outside of the ride?
Safety advocates say the ride-sharing company could add an extra layer of protection by having drivers promise not to exchange information with the teens. Meantime, Uber says safety is a top priority for not only teen rides, but all of them. Brett?
Charles, thank you.
All right, coming back in 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back in TNCradio.live. Had a little thing during the break here on the YouTube side of the house with a story about this completely asinine idea of allowing Uber drivers to drive teenagers. I still can't get over this. It's just
it's live, by the way.
What's live?
Uber Teen.
Oh, well, yeah, no.
It went live on Monday.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So if you are an Uber driver and you haven't drove this week for any reason, before you drive, go into your app, go into the settings, and just like Uber Pet, deselect because they've auto selected it for you. You need to deselect Uber XT.
Particular drivers, Steve. That's what the
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, but no, every driver has it available that I've talked to.
Of course.
I think they maybe auto turned you on if you're a veteran driver or something, but maybe you have to turn, if you're new, you have to turn it on. I don't know. But regardless, the toggle's there. What I would say to every driver is just turn it right off. So it doesn't pay more, and you're risking things that even Uber knows you're not covered.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The risk here, risk reward, not even close.
There is no amount, for me anyway, that would be risk reward worthy.
No.
Because you have no idea what could happen with a minor. And I guarantee you, look, we see Uber walk away from court cases all the time. And those are the legit ones. With this one, they'll just laugh at you.
Yeah.
I can't believe you were dumb enough to do that. You're an independent contractor. You should have known better.
Good luck. Bye.
That's what they will say too. Because I don't know why they're pretending, but honestly, they're not covering phase 3, which is the phase they're supposed to cover completely.
Yeah.
Phase 3, when you have the passenger from pickup to drop off, that's not fully covered by Uber. They need you to go talk to your insurance. Your insurance, they're just counting on people not checking because your insurance will laugh at you.
Well,
if you say you do rideshare and you're looking to take some 13-year-olds too, is that okay?
Right. No.
Yes, they're going to be like, are you kidding? They probably haven't heard of it either. So it's just going to be an eye opener.
Well, like I said, it's not for me, and I hope it's not for anybody who's listening to us tonight. It's just not a good idea at any level. Steve, we've got about 5 minutes left, a little bit more. Tell us what's going on with Rideshare Rodeo, what you got coming up. Tell us again about this thing you've got August 5th. Give us some info here.
So this week, I know you simulcasted it. We had Mike Harubi for what I think was my 5th or 6th interview with Mike. I thought that went pretty well, especially having David on was good too. I liked some of the back and forth, and I like what Mike brings to the table. Some people I know tune in and they watch it for a minute and they're like, it's a little slow, but everybody that stays on board gets into it because Mike is brilliant. He just thinks before he speaks. And he deals with all the stuff that we talk about, but he is there firsthand dealing with legislation in DC. He is fighting these people. He has written Be Your Own Boss legislation, which now has a congressional sponsor and will hit the floor. So he is about being an independent contractor. You can go back and watch that piece. It's on my channel. But YouTube, Rideshare Rodeo, doing lots of shows these days. And then obviously RideshareRodeo.com. You guys can find the podcast there. All the stories usually that we're talking about and then some. And you can find the podcast there as well as on every audio podcast player. And this week was the 229th podcast.
Wow.
So I'm getting there, man.
Yeah, you are.
250 is $250,000. That's pretty good. Or yeah, or $250,000. Sorry.
$250,000.
But still, that's pretty good, man. It's it's an upcoming goal that I can see in my future.
That's right. Yeah, right. Almost there. Yep. Things have been going pretty hot and heavy too on the radio station, TNCradio.live. Have a new guy who's starting with us probably this coming Thursday, could be the Thursday after. Huge on TikTok. He has 500,000 followers on TikTok. He's called Bear the Voice, BEAR the Voice, and been a driver a long time. He's going to be doing a show that'll be on Thursday nights right after the 32 Truckers a Day show. And he's going to be talking about life hacks, those things that make life a little bit easier while you're out there on the road. And he's got everything from how to cook on the truck to, one of our first guests, this guy's brilliant. But he was watching his wife try on shoes at the shoe store, and he realized that the shoehorn she was using, the little plastic shoehorn she was using, would be perfect to fix a problem he had, drilled holes in just the right places, and stopped. Sometimes you're behind a truck and you see that their lights are kind of shimmering or blinking and, having a little issue. He's figured out how to stop that. He had one trucking company last week order 1,000 of these things.
Wow.
Yeah. So just these, and that's what this show's all about, the little things in life to make life on the road. And some of these truckers are out there 4, 6, 12 weeks at a time. How can you make life a little bit easier? Just we're not trying to solve everything. Just make it a little bit easier. So he'll have some stuff every week and talk about how to make life just a little bit easier for our drivers. So that all starts, like I said, either this Thursday or the Thursday after. We're still trying to get our act together. The holiday probably messed us up, so I'm guessing it'll be the Thursday after, but we'll see. We'll try to get it going here pretty soon.
And then Gary's apps. You guys check out Gary's apps.
These
are not electric vehicles. These are not battery powered trucking industry that's going to be here tomorrow and put everybody out of business. This is a real thing that helps you.
It really does. And we've got several of our listeners and viewers on YouTube who won't drive if they don't have Gary's apps running. I mean, it's essential to the way they work. And, they do things, well, you've seen the commercials for them tonight, so you know what they're all about. But Gary's apps, Gary'sApps.com, Gary'sApps.com. Absolutely take the time to download and use these apps, and it will change your driving experience, especially if you like to go back and forth between Uber and Lyft. For me, it was kind of a 10-to-1 thing. For every 10 Ubers, I did 1 Lyft, but I still did it plenty of times, and the app is critical.
Well, in Maximo, I mean, DUH is just for DoorDash, but Maximo does Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, and Uber Eats.
There you go.
You can be multi-apping food and rideshare.
Yep. So a lot of good stuff going on there. I want to thank everybody on the YouTube side. We didn't really get a chance to say hi to everybody. Who do you want to say hi to, Steve? We got a minute.
Everybody. What's up? What's up, Rick? What's up, Light? What's up, Red? Hey, Krista. Hi, Ellen. Hey, Gagan. What's up, Hannibal? Bizarre Lady, JP, Bordura. Let's see. Pedro was in here. Cool commercial breaks. Thank you, Pedro. If you're still here, I don't know. Tina Love, Gigan, Traditional IC, Kevin Hawthorne, and Josh and Tommy. We're all in here. So what's up, guys?
Great. And thank you, those of us who are helping us out, Gigan. I appreciate your pulling up those articles there in Minnesota. Still interested to see where Minnesota is just weird. I'm sorry. I'm starting to think they're as weird as California. and that's saying something, isn't it?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. All right. Hey, we're going to blast out of here, and we will be back next Friday, same time, same channel, right here on TNCradio.live, simulcasting on YouTube, Rideshare Rodeo. Coming up next, you can hear Steve's Rideshare. Maybe you're not used to hearing Steve and his podcast and so forth. Check out some samples. Got a couple of hours of Steve and Rideshare Rodeo coming up right after this, right here on TNCradio.live.
Have a good weekend, everybody.